The stars were bright over Station 7. It was a small place, hidden deep within the Estelle Belt. The station was old and worn, but it was alive. Lights flickered, machines hummed, and people moved with purpose. Nara stood on the observation deck, watching the ships from the fleet arrive one by one. Cargo vessels brought supplies, while medical ships landed carefully. The air was filled with the sound of hope. Eli had joined them a few days earlier. The journey from Veller had been long but safe. Now, together, humans and Serari worked side by side, helping the survivors rebuild. The Serari at Station 7 were grateful but tired. Many had spent years in hiding, scared and alone. Now they were finding new strength. Eli walked through the station's halls with Rilo. They talked quietly. "Do you think the enemy will come here?" Rilo asked. Eli nodded. "They want to stop us from growing, but we will be ready." Rilo smiled. "You're brave." "No," Eli said. "We just don't give up." That afternoon, Nara called a meeting in the main hall. Leaders from the fleet, Serari volunteers, and human commanders gathered around. "We have a choice," Nara said. "We can stay hidden here, safe but trapped, or we can fight back. We can reclaim our worlds." Ruiz, standing beside her, nodded. "We have the fleet's support. We can help train, build defenses, and send aid to other survivors." A murmur went through the room. Some looked scared. Others looked hopeful. Eli spoke up. "We didn't come this far to hide. We came to make a difference." A young Serari woman raised her hand. "But how?" "They are strong. Their ships are faster and deadly." Ruiz smiled. "We're stronger when we work together. The enemy may have weapons, but we have something better: hope, courage, and unity." Nara added, "Our world was broken, but it can be made whole again." Meeting ended with a plan. Teams would form to train fighters, repair ships, and send messages to other hidden Serari colonies. Together, they would rebuild and resist. That night, Eli looked out at the stars. The galaxy was bigger than he ever imagined. But now, he was not alone. Suddenly, an alarm rang through the station. Eli ran to the control room. The screen showed an incoming message. It was from Earth Command. "Swift Wind and escort ships have detected a large enemy fleet heading this way. Estimated arrival, 2 days." The room fell silent. Ruiz spoke calmly. "We have time to prepare." Eli looked at Nara. "We fight together. We don't run." She nodded. "For our people, for our future." Over the next 2 days, the station was a hive of activity. Engineers worked on defenses, medics prepared for casualties, fighters trained in simulated battles. The humans shared their experience, and the Serari brought knowledge of the local systems. Eli helped install a new energy shield around the station. It flickered at first, but grew stronger with each test. On the day the enemy fleet arrived, the sky was dark with ships. The enemy was larger and more powerful than before. But this time, Station 7 was ready. The battle began with fast drones attacking the shield. Fighters launched from the fleet, weaving through enemy fire. Energy beams lit up the sky. Eli watched from the command deck. He felt fear, but also hope. The shield held, and the fighters pushed back. Together, humans and Serari fought with skill and courage. Hours passed. The enemy fleet tried again and again, but could not break through. Finally, enemy ships retreated. The station was safe. The people cheered. Nara turned to Eli. "This is our home now. We will protect it." Eli smiled. "One day we will bring peace to the stars." As the battle ended, the fleet sent a new message. "Help is on the way. Many ships are coming." Eli looked at the sky, feeling the weight of the journey behind and the hope ahead. The galaxy was vast. But humanity and the Serari were not alone. They were ready to face whatever came next. Asterisk. The night sky over Station 7 was filled with stars and distant lights from the arriving fleet. Ships moved slowly, carrying supplies, new crew members, and hope. For the first time in many years, the Serari felt a true chance to rebuild. Eli stood on the observation deck, looking out at the stars. He thought of Earth, the planet he called home, and how far they had all come. From a small message in the dark to this moment of strength and unity, Nara joined him, her eyes shining with quiet pride. "We have come so far," she said softly. Eli smiled. "And we have so much more to do." Below, the station buzzed with activity. Engineers worked to repair damaged systems. Medics cared for the injured from recent battles. Soldiers trained, ready to defend their new home. Commander Ruiz approached Eli and Nara. "The fleet is almost here," she said. "Hundreds of ships full of supplies and reinforcements." Nara nodded. "This will change everything." Eli looked at the horizon, where the first large ships began to appear. "We must be ready to lead, to show what we've learned." Ruiz smiled. "You have been an inspiration to many here." As the fleet landed, a great celebration began. Serrarian humans shared stories, food, and laughter. The wounds of the past were still there, but hope was stronger. One day, Eli received a message from Earth Command. "New allies have joined the cause," the message said. "Several nearby species who heard of your fight have sent help." Shared the news with Nara and Ruiz. "We are no longer alone," he said. Together, they planned the next steps. The Serrari would begin to rebuild their cities. Humans would help train new pilots and engineers. The fleet would patrol the nearby systems to protect survivors and prevent future attacks. In the weeks that followed, Eli saw incredible things. Serrari children learned to pilot small ships. Engineers repaired ancient technology. Soldiers stood guard with determination. The dark enemy that once threatened to destroy everything had been pushed back. But more importantly, two very different peoples had come together, stronger and better. One evening, Eli and Nara stood outside, watching the stars. "Do you think the galaxy will ever be safe?" Eli asked. Nara smiled. "Maybe not completely, but with hope and courage, we can make it better." He nodded. "That's why we keep fighting." They turned back to the station, ready to face the future, because no matter what came next, humanity and the Serrari would stand together, united, strong, and never alone. Wind was soft across the valley now. The dark clouds that once covered the sky were almost gone. Green plants began to grow between the cracks in the stone. The world was healing. Eli stood at the edge of the camp, looking up at the stars. He had come to this planet alone, not knowing what he would find. Now the Serrarian humans were building something new together. Commander Ruiz was busy that morning. She met with Nara and the other Serrari leaders inside a large tent, discussed plans for rebuilding old cities and restoring the planet's power grids. A map was spread across the table. Nara pointed to a spot far to the east. "This was our capital," she said. "It was called Veller. If we can reach it, we may find old records and supplies. But it's far," Ruiz said, "and dangerous." "Yes," Nara agreed, "but it is important to our people." Eli listened carefully. "I want to go," he said. Ruiz raised an eyebrow. "It won't be safe, I know," Eli said. "But if we're going to rebuild trust, we need to show we're willing to walk with them, not just give orders." Nara gave him a gentle smile. "Then you'll go with us." 2 days later, the team was ready. A small group of humans and Serrari loaded supplies onto 2 transport vehicles. They carried food, water, medical kits, and portable shields. Eli rode in the front vehicle with Nara and an engineer named Rilo. The road was broken, covered in rubble and vines. But the machines moved carefully, and the path slowly cleared. As they traveled, Nara told stories about Veller. She described tall crystal towers that caught sunlight and turned it into energy. She spoke of libraries, gardens, and quiet music in the air. "I was just a child," she said softly. "But I remember the joy," Rilo added. "We used to fly. Small ships between the towers. It was beautiful." Eli listened with wonder. "We've lost cities on Earth too," he said. "But we always rebuild. Maybe that's what makes us strong." On the 3rd day, the team reached a wide canyon. The bridge had collapsed, leaving only broken metal hanging over the edge. We'll have to go around, Ruiz said over the radio. But that'll take another day. Eli stepped out of the vehicle and looked down. The canyon was deep, but a narrow path led along the edge. What if we walk across that path? He asked. Rilo looked doubtful. It's risky. Only if we rush, Eli said. If we go slowly, we can make it. Nara nodded. We'll try. They left the vehicles and packed only what they could carry. Carefully, they followed the rocky path. The wind pushed hard, and loose stones slid under their boots. But no one gave up. Hours passed. At last they reached the other side. In the distance, tall ruins stood like ghost shadows of the old Capitol floor. The team moved slowly through the broken streets. Most buildings were damaged, but one large tower still stood. Its top was cracked, but the lower levels looked safe. Inside, the air was dusty but calm. Screens flickered weakly. A few machines still hummed with energy. This was the knowledge tower, Nara said. All our science and history were stored here. Eli helped set up lights. Rilo connected a power pack to the main console. After a moment, the screen glowed brighter. Lines of text appeared, followed by pictures of the city before it fell. The Serari gathered around. They saw faces. They had forgotten, places they thought were lost forever. Some wept. Eli watched quietly. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. He understood what they felt. Later that night, Nara sat beside Eli on a broken bench outside the tower. You came from a planet where everything is dangerous, she said, and yet you brought peace. Eli looked at the stars. Earth taught us how to fight, yes, but it also taught us how to care. She nodded, and now we learn that too. Just then Rilo ran toward them. There's something else, he said downstairs, a signal. They followed him to a lower room. A small communication device blinked softly. Relo turned a dial, and a voice filled the room. It was Serari. But not from this planet, the voice said. This is Serari Station 7. We received your signal. If anyone is alive, please respond. Nara stared at the device. Her hand shook. They're out there, she whispered. Other Serari survived. Eli touched the screen. Then this story isn't over. It's just getting bigger, the message repeated. Hope was growing, and the stars were beginning to answer. Asterisk, the old tower in Veller, was no longer silent. For the first time in years, a voice had spoken through its walls of voice from far away. Carrying hope across the stars, Eli, Nara, and Rilo stood in front of the old communication device. It repeated the same message again and again. This is Serari Station 7. We received your signal. If anyone is alive, please respond. Nara reached for the microphone. Her hand shook. Go ahead, Eli said gently. She pressed the button. This is Nara of the Serari people. We are alive. We heard you. The room went quiet for a moment. Then a new voice replied. Nara, you survived? We thought all was lost. Tears filled Nara's eyes. We survived underground. Humans helped us. You are not alone anymore. The voice on the other side was filled with emotion. We are in a system 3 jumps from you. Small station, hidden in the astral belt. We are safe, but supplies are low. Eli leaned in. We'll come to you. We'll bring help. Rilo smiled. We thought we were the last Serari. But now we know there's more. After ending the call, the team sent the coordinates back to Commander Ruiz in the valley. She responded quickly. We'll send a small ship, fast and quiet. We need to protect that station. Back in Veller, the team worked hard to collect old technology and store useful data. The humans helped restore more systems in the tower. One of the engineers found a power node buried under the floor. It gave them enough energy to power the whole building for a week. That night, Nara and Eli sat on the rooftop. The stars above were clearer than ever before. When we started this journey, I thought our story was ending, Nara said softly. But now, Eli added, you're writing a new chapter. She looked at him with gentle eyes. With your people, Eli nodded. Together. The next morning, a small scout ship arrived from the fleet. It was called Swift Wind, fast and silent. 2 pilots, a doctor, and an engineer stepped out. They greeted Nara with deep respect. "We're ready." "To fly to Station 7, the lead pilot said. "We'll leave in 1 hour." Nara chose to go with them, along with Rilo and 2 other Sorari volunteers. She turned to Eli before boarding. "Will you stay here?" she asked. Eli hesitated. "For now, there's still work to do in Velar." She held out her hand. Eli took it. "Thank you," she whispered. "Come back safe," he said. The swift wind lifted into the sky and vanished into the stars. Eli watched until the trail disappeared. Then he turned back to help Ruiz's team in the capital in the following days. The humans and Sorari worked side by side. They cleaned the streets, restored solar panels, and brought light to buildings that hadn't seen power in years. They found old data crystals with history, science, and music. The city slowly began to breathe again, but peace didn't last long. One evening, as the sun set behind the ruined towers, the warning alarm rang out from the valley base. Ruiz contacted Eli over the radio. Enemy ships approaching. Small scouts. Likely searching for survivors again. Eli's heart sank. "How long until they reach us?" "Less than a day," Ruiz replied. The humans in Sorari and Velar prepared quickly. They set up shield barriers, activated the old defense drones, and hid the most vulnerable deep underground. Eli helped place motion sensors around the city. Edge Rello had taught him how before leaving. "They're not taking this city again," he said. By morning, the enemy ships arrived. 3 black craft, sleek and fast. They flew low, scanning buildings and sending small drones to the ground. But this time, Velar was ready. The defense drones opened fire with warning shots. The city shields glowed bright as they deflected the first energy blasts. Eli and the engineers jammed the enemy signals using the old towers. The invaders tried to break through. But the humans in Sorari stood firm. After hours of tension, the enemy ships turned away. They had not expected resistance.
Ow.
They vanished into the sky. Leaving only silence behind, Ruiz sent a message from the valley. "They'll return with more, but we showed them something today," Lai replied. "We're not running. Not anymore." Later that night, another message came through the tower. It was Nara. "We reached Station 7. Over 200 Sorari are alive here. They are strong, but they need help." Eli smiled as he listened. "And we'll give it," he said to himself. The galaxy was changing. One voice had cried for help. Now, hundreds were answering, and this was only the beginning. Eli stood near the small communication tower he had built. It wasn't strong, but it was enough to send a signal into deep space. The message was out there now, flying through stars, reaching toward Earth. He didn't know how long it would take for someone to reply, but he hoped. Inside the underground shelter, the Sorari were changing. They moved with more energy now. Children played in the wide tunnels. The older ones fixed lights, cleaned old machines, and helped each other with quiet smiles. Nara watched. It all from the command room. She had become a leader, not because she asked for it, but because she gave the others strength. Every time she looked at Eli, she remembered the moment he arrived and how everything began to change. Eli helped, where he could. He showed them how to use small tools to build heaters. He helped create simple filters using scrap parts. Even taught a few Sorari how to make batteries using sand and copper pieces. One day, a young Sorari named Rilo came running into the room. "Something is falling from the sky," he cried. Eli and Nara rushed to the surface. The sky was still cloudy, but they saw a trail of smoke cutting across it. Something was coming down fast. It wasn't a probe. It was bigger. Bigger. Eli grabbed his binoculars and stared. His heart skipped a beat. "That's a human pod," he said. "It's from Earth." Nara looked at him. "They heard your message." "They did," Eli said, breathless. "Someone's coming." They followed the smoke trail through the valley. The pod had crashed into a hill, but it was mostly safe. Steam hissed from the sides and lights blinked along the hatch. Eli knocked on the outer shell. The door opened slowly. A woman in a dark gray uniform stepped out. Her helmet was off, and her hair was tied back tightly. Her eyes locked on Eli. then softened. Eli Hayes? She asked. He nodded. Yes, I'm Commander Dana Ruiz. Earth Command received your signal. They sent me ahead while the fleet prepares. Eli smiled wide. You don't know how good it is. To see you. Commander Ruiz looked around. This world has suffered, but you've done something no one else has. You gave them a reason to believe again. Eli turned to Nara. This is Nara. She leads the Sorari now. Nara bowed slightly. Thank you for coming. Ruiz nodded. Earth doesn't ignore cries. For help. Not now. Not ever. They brought Ruiz back to the shelter. The Sorari were nervous at first, but when she gave food, supplies, and medical kits, their fear melted away. Ruiz set up a larger beacon, one that could contact the fleet faster. She also unpacked a small defense drone, just in case another enemy probe returned. That night, Eli, Nara, and Ruiz sat together in the old control room. Do we know who attacked them? Eli asked. Ruiz nodded, starting to piece it. Together, no one has claimed responsibility, but some data matches records from deep space pirate fleets. Rogue species, not part of any council. They take what they want and leave nothing behind. Can we stop them? Nara asked quietly. We will, Ruiz said. But first, we need to protect the survivors. The next few days were busy. Trained the older Sorari how to use basic tools for self-defense. She helped improve the shield systems and even set up a warning net around the valley. Eli helped build stronger shelters. He made sure the children had clean water and working lights. He also shared more stories about Earth, about rain, trees, and snow. The Sorari listened with wonder. They had never seen snow. One evening, Rilo asked Eli, "Is Earth a perfect place?" Eli laughed. Not at all. We fight. We make mistakes. But we always try to do better. Nara added, trying matters. The stars above were clearer now. The clouds were beginning to fade little by little. And one night, the communication tower beeped. Ruiz checked the signal. Her eyes widened. They're close, she said. Fleet, 3 ships. Full crew, supplies, and medics. Eli stared at the screen. They're really coming. They are, Ruiz said. And when they land, this planet's going to rise again. Outside, the stars shimmered like hope. Stood beside Nara as the wind brushed across the valley. For the first time, the air felt calm. The Sorari were no longer alone, and humanity had just begun to show what it truly stood for. Asterisk. The sun peeked through the clouds for the first time in many years. It wasn't bright, just a soft golden light that touched the broken buildings and warmed the cold stones. The Sorari stepped out from the underground shelter. Blinking against the sunlight, Eli stood at the entrance with Nara and Commander Ruiz. They watched the Sorari walk slowly into the open, their faces full of wonder. Some held hands. Others looked up with tears in their eyes. I never thought I'd see real sunlight again, Nara whispered. It's a new beginning, Ruiz said softly. Just then a low hum filled the sky. Everyone turned their eyes upward. 3 large ships floated down from the clouds, their silver hulls shining in the light. The fleet had arrived. Eli's heart raced. They made it, he said. The ships landed carefully in the valley, one after the other. Ramps extended from the sides, and dozens of humans walked out, engineers, doctors, and scientists. They moved quickly, bringing supplies, building tents, and setting up medical stations. The Sorari watched quietly at first, unsure of what to do. Then a young human medic walked up to an elderly Sorari and offered him a blanket and water. Old Sorari took it with shaky hands and smiled. At one moment changed everything. Soon, the Sorari joined in. They helped the humans carry boxes, shared maps of the old cities, and showed safe paths through the ruins. Together, they worked side by side. Nara turned to Eli. They are not afraid of us. Why would they be? Eli smiled. You needed help, and we came. In the following days, the valley became a place of life and movement. New shelters were built above ground. Food stations were set up. A small school was created for Sorari children with both Sorari and human teachers. Eli taught basic repairs and energy management. He even helped a group of Sorari rebuild an old weather station. They cheered when it worked again. The weather data showed that the planet's skies were finally clearing. Commander Ruiz met daily with Nara and her advisors. They discussed how to rebuild more cities, clean the air, and restore farming. Plans were drawn on screens, then brought to life with machines and teamwork. One evening, as Eli walked near the edge of the valley, he saw something unusual, another probe, hovering in the distance. It was smaller than the last one, but still dangerous. He quietly contacted Ruiz. She arrived with 2 engineers and a small drone. They watched the enemy probe from behind a hill. "We can't let it report back," Ruiz said. Eli nodded. "We don't have big weapons, but maybe we can jam its signal." One of the engineers, a woman named Mara, quickly built a signal disruptor from spare parts. Eli connected it to a small power pack and climbed onto a rock ledge. Carefully, he pointed the device at the probe and turned it on. The signal buzzed through the air. The probe shook slightly, then dropped to the ground with a soft thud. It sparked once and went silent. They quickly recovered the probe and took it back to base. Ruiz and her team examined its memory core. What they found made her frown. "This wasn't just looking for survivors," she said. "It was scanning for weakness." Eli felt a chill. "You think they're planning to come back?" Ruiz nodded. "Yes, and they won't be alone next time." But instead of fear, the Sorari showed strength. "We are not the same people we were," Nara said firmly. "We will stand, and we will not be alone." That night, the humans held a gathering. They set up lights, cooked warm meals, and invited everyone to eat together. Music played softly from a speaker. The Sorari sat beside the humans, sharing stories and laughter. Eli saw Nara watching the stars. "What are you thinking?" he asked. She looked at him with calm eyes. "That this unity is what we were missing before." He nodded. "Together, we're stronger." From above, the sky was finally clear. The stars shined bright. And below, 2 species, one from a death world, one from a broken world, stood united. They knew danger would come again. But they were ready, because this time they would face it side by side. In the cold silence of space, a small ship drifted through the stars. It was old, slow, and patched together from dozens of parts, but it had a clear purpose. Inside the ship sat a young man named Eli. He stared out of the window, watching distant. Stars blinked like tiny candles. Eli was not a soldier. He was not a captain or a hero. He was a technician from Earth, trained to repair machines and analyze signals. But today, he carried something more important than any weapon. He carried a message. The message came from a dying alien world. A strange, unknown signal had reached Earth just 2 weeks ago. It was full of static, but after hours of decoding, scientists understood one clear phrase: "Help us, we are afraid." At first, many thought it was a trap. Earth was still new. To the galaxy, humans had only started space travel 50 years ago. They were strong, clever, and curious, but not yet trusted. Other alien races called Earth a death world, a place where only the toughest life could survive. Still, humans listened, and when no one else responded to the message, Earth sent Eli. His ship, the Sparrow, was too small for battle. Carried no weapons, only supplies, translation equipment, and medical tools. It was fast and quiet, perfect for scouting. Eli had volunteered when no one else did. He didn't know what he would find, but he couldn't forget the fear in that alien voice. After 6 days in hyperspace, the Sparrow reached the coordinates from the signal. Eli held his breath as the stars shifted and a planet appeared. It looked sick. The skies were thick with clouds. Strange shapes floated in orbit-broken stations, or old satellites.
Louder.
No ships came to meet him. He sent a message. "This is Eli from Earth. I received your call for help, or come in peace." There was no answer. Eli waited. His hands shook as he scanned the area. The planet's surface showed signs of damaged cities destroyed, energy spikes near the poles, strange heat readings in the atmosphere. Something had happened here. Something terrible. Just when he thought he might turn back, his screen blinked. A reply. "You came," the voice said, weak and full of emotion. "You are human." "Yes," Eli said. "I'm human. I'm here to help." The voice hesitated. "We never thought. They said you would destroy us, that humans are monsters, that your world burns everything it touches." Eli smiled sadly. He had heard those words before. "We're not monsters. We're just survivors." A voice went silent again. Then it whispered, "Then maybe there is hope." The alien who answered called herself Nara. She belonged to a race called the Sarari. Their people were once proud scientists and artists, but their planet had been attacked by something unknown, something dark, fast, and ruthless. They had no time to prepare. The enemy took their orbit, then their cities, then their skies. Now only a few Sarari remained, hidden deep underground, waiting for help that never came. Until Eli, he guided the sparrow down through thick clouds. Lightning flashed outside and the engines groaned under the pressure. But Eli held the controls steady. Wasn't a pilot by training, but he had learned enough. The ship landed in a quiet valley filled with ruins. A group of tall, thin beings stepped from the shadows. Their eyes were wide with fear, their skin pale from years without sunlight. Nara stood at the front, looked at Eli with surprise. "You are smaller than I thought." Eli laughed. "Yeah, we're full of surprises." He took him underground, where strange machines hummed and children huddled near warm lights. Eli saw sadness in every face, but also something else, curiosity. He gave them food, clean water, and tools to help fix their systems. He showed them how to repair their broken power cells and restart old generators. It wasn't much, but it gave the Sarari something they had lost long ago: hope. At night, Eli sat with Nara and listened to her stories. She spoke of her world. Before the attack, of great libraries and singing winds. He told her of Earth, of its oceans and storms, and of a place called New Chicago, where he grew up fixing old machines. Nara smiled. "Your world sounds dangerous." "It is," Eli said, "but it's home." She looked up. "Maybe your people are not monsters after all." Eli shrugged. "We're not perfect. But when someone cries for help, we listen." Outside, the stars still watched in silence. But below them, deep underground, the spark of something new had begun to grow, a connection between two worlds. Born not of power or war, but of kindness and courage. And this was just the beginning. Eli woke up to the sound of soft voices. The underground shelter was quiet, but not silent. Somewhere nearby, Sarari engineers were working on machines he had helped repair the day before. Lights flickered to life along the tunnel walls, powered by energy that hadn't flowed in years. He sat up on the small bed they had given him and stretched. The air smelled of metal and dust, but also something new, hope. Nara met him near the main control room. Her long fingers tapped across a screen filled with ancient codes. "We've restarted the water system," she said, smiling gently. "It's the first time in 7 years we've had clean flow." Eli grinned. "That's great. Want to try fixing the oxygen filters next?" She nodded. "We'll try. But we'll need parts we don't have." Eli thought for a moment. "I saw a crashed ship near the valley edge. Looked old, but maybe we can find something useful there." The trip to the surface was short, but still dangerous. The air above was heavy with smoke, and the sky was stained a strange green color. Eli wore a filter mask. Ada led the way in silence, scanning for danger with a handheld device. The crashed ship was buried under debris and moss. Its panels were broken, its lights long dead. But inside, they found what they needed: wires, small power units, and oxygen scrubbers. Nara's eyes lit up. These will work. As they gathered the pieces, Eli noticed something strange in the distance. A black mark in the sky, moving slowly. "What's that?" he asked. Nara turned quickly. Her face changed. "A probe," she said. From them, Eli felt a chill in his spine. You mean the ones who attacked you? She nodded. Send probes sometimes. Looking for survivors. They always hide when they come. Eli looked at the probe again. It wasn't fast, but it was scanning the surface. He didn't want it to find them. We need to get back, now he said. They returned. Quickly to the shelter, Narak called the others to hide deeper underground. Eli helped cover the entrance with heat shields and powered down the Sparrow to keep it hidden. Hours passed. The probe floated overhead, scanning. Eli watched from a tiny viewing slit. It came close to Closebot after a long silence. It moved on. When it was finally gone, the Sorari cheered quietly. They had survived one more day. Later, Eli helped Nara and the engineers install the parts they found. The oxygen filters came to life with a soft hum. Clean air began flowing into the shelter. Children laughed for the first time since he arrived. You've given us more than tools, Nara told him. You've given us a reason to believe again? Eli shrugged, smiling. Sometimes a little help goes a long way. That evening, Nara showed him something special. In a small sealed room, covered in dust, was a large crystal display. It glowed faintly with light and began to play images recordings from the past. He saw the Sorari. Homeworld as it once was, tall white towers, blue rivers, floating gardens. Music played from open windows, and children danced in the streets. It was beautiful. Then came the shadows. The recordings showed dark ships appearing without warning. Beams of energy tearing through cities. People running, hiding, screaming. The last image was a message spoken by an elder Sorari. If anyone hears this, please remember us. Please, tell our story. Eli sat in silence for a long time. Then he turned to Nara. I will. I'll tell everyone. You won't be forgotten. The next day, Eli repaired his communication relay. He worked for hours, adjusting the antenna, cleaning old circuits. When it was ready, he sent a secure signal back to Earth. He kept it short. Survivors found. Serious damage. Enemy probes. Still active. Help needed. But hope remains. Then he waited. The Sorari didn't know if anyone would come, but they trusted Eli. Over the next few days, Eli helped teach the Sorari more about human technology, showed them simple ways to build tools, recycle parts, and store energy. In return, they taught him about their language and art. They were very different, but also very alike. One night, as they sat under the stars hidden safely behind shielded rocks, Nara asked, Why did you come? Really? Eli looked up. Because someone asked for help, and because I believe no one should suffer alone. She smiled, her eyes soft. You are not what the galaxy told us to expect from humans. Maybe the galaxy doesn't know us yet, Eli said. Above them, the stars blinked quietly. Far away. Someone on Earth had heard his message. Something was coming. Not war, but help. And it was only the beginning.